That's not muted. There we go. We should be good. We got the we got the advertising. We got me. I'm on screen. Yes, it's the Leafs. No, we're not in the playoffs. No, you don't need to tell me. I already know. I got the Carolina Hurricanes jersey on for this stream today, so at least I'm wearing a winner's shirt as we get into it. We got the advertising. We got me. I'm on screen. All right, we're good. The audio's working, and well, we might as well just jump right into this one. Actually, let me change the lighting. There we go. A little brighter. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CollingsThodeNetwork. This is Curtis, as per usual, and we're going to be talking about the NHL Playoffs. They are right around the corner. Every team has just about 15 to 10 games left. We'll give it the wide spectrum here, and we'll go over some of those teams that are on the bubble, see if they'll make it, do some game predictions for you, and then we will get into a full-on playoff prediction with my Stanley Cup winner. So jumping into it right now, we'll talk about the Eastern Conference. I have three teams that you should be keeping your eye on for the race to the playoffs here, and that's Montreal, Boston, and Detroit. Those are the three teams in my mind that can compete for this last spot. Looking at the games left for the Ottawa Senators, I really don't see them with their 81 points moving up at all. Same thing with the Philadelphia Flyers with their 80 points. I just don't see these two teams cracking the race. So talking about Montreal, Boston, and Detroit, I have all three of these teams on a heater to end the year. I think Detroit's probably going to be the one that I'm wrong about if we're predicting that now. As Detroit has had some difficulties lately, but they are getting their captain Dylan Larkin back, so we'll see. As with Detroit, I have them going 9-3 in their final 12 games. Now you might be thinking, whoa, that's extreme, but the opponents I have them beating are, here, we'll just go over the games I have them losing. I have them losing against the Sabres. That makes sense to me. The Penguins. That makes sense to me. And then the Lightning. Of course, they could drop some other games, but I love these matchups for the Red Wings moving forward. I don't see it being enough, as Boston and Detroit have the same amount of games left, and I have Boston going 8-4 in those games. What this does is it ties up both Boston and Detroit for that last wild card spot, if I'm not mistaken. What did I give them? No, I had them tying. They should be in the last wild card spot. I'm realizing now I did this wrong, but it makes no difference in the second round. So I didn't do anything wrong. Forget I said that. So Boston 8-4, Detroit 9-3. They're fighting for that last wild card spot, as I have the New York Islanders securely in the first wild card spot. And if Boston goes 8-4, these two teams tie, and then I'm pretty sure Boston would get the tiebreaker. As Boston 8-4, the four losses I have them taking are the Sabres. The Stars, the Lightning, and the Hurricanes. Those are all droppable games, but the rest, I loved seeing them. I even have the Bruins beating the Lightning. And then for Montreal, I have them going 9-4, as they have an extra game on the others. The only four games I have them losing is going to be the Hurricanes. Shout out to the jersey I'm wearing. The Lightning again, and then the Blue Jackets. I actually gave the Blue Jackets a win in there. So with that, the Eastern Conference has the playoffs set at the 1-seed Hurricanes facing off against the second wild card Boston Bruins. Then it's going to be the 2-seed in the Metro Pittsburgh facing the 3-seed in the Metro, the Blue Jackets. Then on the other side, it's going to be the 1-seed Sabres facing off against the second wild card, and that is going to be against the first wild card. Apologies for that. And that is going to then be the Islanders. Then it's going to be the 2-seeded Lightning versus the 3-seeded Canadiens for the actual playoffs. Now, moving over to the Western Conference, building the first round there, I am going to be tracking four teams and, predicting their games: Edmonton, Nashville, LA, and Seattle. Those are the teams that I feel like are in the hunt now. I feel like any other teams are just at too few points. Even Seattle, I thought in my head, probably isn't going to be making a run here, but I felt like seeing, at the end of the day. So Edmonton, I have them going 6-5 in their last 11 games, finishing with 89 points. That's going to be crucial here. As Nashville, they're going to be locking up the first. Oh no, I have Nashville falling out of the playoffs here, actually. I have the Nashville Predators losing out, if I'm not mistaken, yes. As the LA Kings are going to jump up and Seattle's not going to do anything. So Nashville in their last 12 games, I have them going 6-6. LA in their final 12 games, I have them going 9-3. And then Seattle, I have going 4-9. Things haven't been great for Seattle lately anyways, and now Ryan Winterton is on a leave of absence, which he's not one of the biggest stars, but still, you're missing out on one of your players. Now for the Oilers, I have them dropping games to the Mammoth, the Ducks, the Golden Knights, the Mammoth again, and then the Avalanche. The rest of the games, I think, are super winnable. For Nashville, I have them losing to the Canadiens, the Lightning, the Kings, the Ducks, the Mammoth, and then the Ducks again. It's going to be tough. 87 points, 2 away from Edmonton, and Edmonton is going to be your second wildcard team, as LA is going to pass them in the standings, going 9-3 on a heater to end the year to go up to 91 points. The only 3 losses I see LA taking to end the year here are 1 to the Mammoth, 1 to the Predators, and 1 to the Oilers. Other than that, I see them winning pretty much every single game on the schedule. And then Seattle, I see them losing a lot. I don't like this for them. Their losses are the Lightning, Sabres, Oilers, Mammoth, Wild, Golden Knights, Kings, Golden Knights, and then Avalanche. All games I just don't see them winning, as they are kind of crawling over the finish line. They're going to finish their season with 79 points, be firmly out of the playoff race. Nashville is going to finish their season with 87 points, finish 2 away from the Oilers for the second wildcard spot, and then LA is going to be third in the Pacific, where I still have the Mammoth being your first wildcard team, so that makes the playoffs over in the West look like the 1-seeded Avs facing the second wildcard Oilers, the 2-seeded Stars facing the 3-seeded Wild. Then the other way, it's going to be the 1-seeded Ducks facing the 1 wildcard Mammoth, the 2-seeded Golden Knights facing the 3-seeded Kings. And so that's all the setup we're going to get, as we are now going to, not combine those words, we are now going to take a look at the playoffs, what is in store for these teams, and we'll see if I'm right here. You'll have to come back to this video after the playoff ends. So, first things first, we're looking at the Western Conference. We'll go East first. We'll go the Eastern Conference first. Why not? So in the Eastern Conference, I got the 1-seeded Hurricanes beating the second wildcard Boston Bruins. Yes, am I a salty Leafs fan? Probably. Definitely. But still, it's the Hurricanes. They're going to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. We all know this. This is just how it be. This is just nature running its course. Then I have the Pittsburgh Penguins beating the Columbus Blue Jackets to set up the Hurricanes and the Penguins for your second round matchup in the Metro. Then on the other side of the bracket, the 1-seed Sabres will beat the Islanders. I have the Sabres doing it. I have the Sabres not only having this incredible season, but also winning a playoff round. Because, well, at the end of the day, the Sabres aren't the Leafs. And if they were the Leafs, they would lose this round. But I don't know. I like the Sabres this year. I do. And I like them in the playoffs, weirdly enough. I think they got everything that's needed, at least to beat the Islanders at the end of the day. That will set up a matchup between the Lightning and the Canadiens, where I have the Lightning winning. The second round now gets set up as the Hurricanes versus the Penguins, the Sabres versus the Lightning. Now, over in the Western Conference, as I'm pretty sure I did the East first, if I'm not mistaken, I have the 1-seeded Avs facing the 2 wildcard Oilers. The Avs are going to win that. And then I have the 2-seeded Stars facing the 3-seeded Wild. Stars are going to win that. The 1-seeded Ducks facing the 1 wildcard Mammoth, and I have the Mammoth winning. Dave Collings in the chat. Let's go, Mammoth. Let's go. I think that's what we do. I don't know. I'm a new Mammoth fan. I don't know what do we tusk it up because we're the Mammoths now. And then the 2-seeded Golden Knights and the 3-seeded Kings. I have the Golden Knights winning. So that's going to set up your second round. Now the Avs facing off against the Stars, and I have the Stars beating the Avalanche. Yes, I do. I like Mikko Rantanen too much. I like what the Stars got going on. I like Jake Ottinger too much. I think it might be the Stars' year. As we'll get into it, the Mammoth and the Golden Knights. I have the Golden Knights beating the Mammoth, unfortunately. But hey, our Mammoth, second round bound. Then over in the Eastern Conference, I have the Hurricanes beating the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, it's the Hurricanes. They're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're going to lose, as we know. And then on the other side, we have the Sabres versus the Lightning, and this is where the Sabres falter. I just think the Lightning are too used to this. They're too veteran heavy, they're too experienced, they're too battle tested, and that's going to set up our conference finals. Now, these are going to be some good rounds. These are going to be some of the best playoff rounds, maybe in the whole thing. If not, I mean, I have a little bit of bias. A lot of my picks here are just setting up the really cool, fun matchups, as we're going to be watching Stars versus Golden Knights. And shout out to my cousin, shout out Evan, as the Dallas Stars are going to be making the Stanley Cup Finals to face off against the winner of the Hurricanes and the Lightning. And of course, it's the Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals. We all know how that's going to end. It's going to result in the Lightning heading to the Stanley Cup playoffs, or to the Stanley Cup Finals, excuse me. As that's going to set up Stars versus Lightning, a rematch of what, 2020? 2021? 2020. 2020. As it's going to be an exciting matchup. It's going to be a good one. No, 2021. Because 2020 was the Lightning beating the Montreal Canadiens in an absolute joke of a Stanley Cup Finals. Then the next year, they'd go on to face the Stars. And again, bubble hockey. There wasn't the fans like you would expect. Still a very good matchup. Now, fans in the building. Both teams full strength. I went back and forth on this for a couple minutes. I will not lie. Trying to predict who's going to win this. And at the end of the day, I think the Stanley Cup is heading west with the Dallas Stars. I have the Dallas Stars as my 2020, what would it be? Yeah, 2026 NHL champions. I forgot what year it was. That's a bad brain fart. So yeah, Dallas Stars. I mean, write down in the comments if you disagree with this. Write down in the comments if you have other teams making the playoffs, such as the Detroit Red Wings. There still is potential for them being in it, but when you look up the Detroit Red Wings and news, one of the first things that pops up is, well, mathematically they're still in. That's not always a good sign. If your own fans, if your own journalists are talking about how mathematically you could still make it and how mathematically you could still be good, I don't have a lot of hope for your team. So we will see if the Stars can do this. We'll see if the Lightning can do it. But if this is the way the playoffs are going to shake out, you could potentially poke holes in me saying the Ducks will lose in the first round. You could poke holes in me saying the Avalanche are going to lose to the Stars. But I don't know. I like it. And we see here Gabe's Films for the World saying, I think Dog has a chip on his shoulder with the Olympics in Game 7. Of course, talking about Nate Dogg and the Game 7 choke last year versus the Stars. He's too dialed, and I think he's going to explode in that matchup. I'll never bet against Kadri. I can't hate you there. And especially Kadri on the Avalanche yet again. This is, I mean, it might as well be his home at this point. It's where he plays the best hockey. It is hard to bet against Kadri. And Dave in the calling saying, I don't think I can handle listening to Evan if this happens. Of course, the biggest Stars fan, at least I know, he's going to be rather happy with it. And yeah, it's going to be hard to bet against Nate Dogg, the Avs, Kadri, and it's going to be a great matchup. I genuinely think out of that playoffs, it has to be Avs versus Stars as probably the best series. Probably in my eyes, that's the Stanley Cup final right there. Whoever wins in the second round matchup between the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars is going to win the Stanley Cup. That's my prediction now. We will see. I will say right now, 0% chance the Stanley Cup is going to an Eastern Conference team this year. 0%. I think the Lightning are probably the best the East have to offer, and I just don't see them being better than a lot of these teams out West. And if it's not going to be them, it's not going to be the Sabres. It's not going to be the Penguins. It's not going to be maybe the Hurricanes, but I still I don't have confidence in them like that. So we will see how the playoffs shake out. In the comments below, I want to hear all about your Stanley Cup champion. I want to hear all about your brackets, so make sure you let me know. And hey, subscribe to the CollingsThodeNetwork as a little bit shorter one today, but hey, the playoffs, when you look at it like this, it might be a little bit more cut and dry than we're expecting. So make sure you stick around as I will be doing coverage of the rest of the NHL season as the playoffs shake out. We will see if my predictions were correct. And then once the actual playoffs shake out, we will do another prediction and we will fully give games. We'll fully give predictions. But you'll have to wait for that by subscribing to the CollingsThodeNetwork, hitting the bell icon so you don't miss a single one of the uploads, and liking this stream, liking this video, regardless of how you're watching it. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and hey, till next time, peace.